Hello once again, all my fellow patriots and you filthy leftist stalkers out there. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Angela Box. You're watching Angela's Soapbox, where I always say what you are thinking. Now, before we jump into who gets the straw this week, I would like to comment on the fact that YouTube and Facebook and Twitter and Google are doing the most to censor and purge conservative viewpoints. And it's really, really rather astonishing what's going on, and what anyone with a brain can see is pure bias, pure censorship, and it's scary. So that is why the tech oligarchs get the straw this week, and I include all of them. They get the straw. You are what Orwell warned against, and I dare say that George Orwell would be pretty freaked out right now, and thinking that the things he wrote about 100 years ago were happening almost to the letter today. It's pretty scary. So this is for you, you jerks. I was going to say something else, but this, I don't want to cuss. All right. If you're not subscribed to my channel, please hit the subscribe button before they memory hole me as well. And this week's article on angelasoapbox.com, which I will link down below, is entitled Democrats, the Party of #NotScience. And we're going to get to that in a little bit. I like to say that today's Democrats are basically like the alchemists of the Middle Ages. And if you know what the alchemists were, they believed that you could turn human feces into gold. And that's kind of what we're dealing with now. Just the dumbest people on planet Earth and the arrogant narcissism of them all. Kind of like what the alchemists believed. Anyway, we'll get to that in a little bit. But the big news, of course, is Hunter Biden's emails. Now, and the laptop. Now, here's what I think about Hunter Biden. I think that Hunter is a very troubled person. I think that there might have been some subconscious things going on, that he would have left such laptops in the possession of a computer repair store. And then even after the guy called Hunter several times trying to get him to retrieve his property, he never did. So then it became the property of the computer store repair owner. And I just thought it's very, there's a lot of psychological things going on in play, I think. I think that what we learned about the Biden crime family is that Joe Biden, although stupid, is very cunning and used his office, whether as Delaware senator or as vice president, for decades in order to enrich his family. And he used his sons and his brother to do that, and probably various other family members as well. And what we've also learned about this laptop is that there are some really disturbing images on there, and pretty much everyone is saying this is really bad. This is not just consenting adults doing drugs and having sex on camera. This is underage. Some people have said it's Chinese torture, if you know what I'm saying, that Hunter Biden is engaging in torture and abuse of young Chinese girls in order, and basically knowingly doing this because then the Chinese Communist Party has leverage over Hunter Biden and the Biden family, and will definitely own Joe Biden. And that it's a very scary proposition to think that this is actually real life. And, people get made fun of for saying that there's human trafficking and there's pedophile rings and things that a certain letter of the alphabet has been excoriated for. But the more and more this goes on, the more it doesn't seem so crazy. And, when Savannah Guthrie, that raging harpy, oh, God, that town hall, I just wanted to punch her. When she brought up a certain letter of the alphabet, and most Americans are like, what are you talking about? This was my takeaway. They are really coming hard for YouTube channels and Twitter and Facebook that talk about this certain letter of the alphabet. And my question is, if it's all just some random scam conspiracy theory, why are you so freaked out about it? Because, spoiler alert, I don't think it's a conspiracy theory. I think that what this certain letter has been dropping on the boards for the last 3 years is now coming to fruition, and people are really starting to pay attention and realizing, okay, this isn't crazy. This isn't crazy at all. This is actually happening. And so all these tech oligarchs realize that they've got to start really clamping down and censoring people. That's what's going on, and it's really scary. I said at the beginning that Orwell would be really freaked out about what's going on, and I think he would. Now, the Hunter Biden stuff is just a larger, is a small piece of the censorship puzzle. But now we've seen what lengths the left and the collective left and the media will go to silence dissenting voices. And again, if this laptop, which of course the left is saying is Russian disinformation, kind of like what they did with the DNC emails, they're not denying that these are real. They're not denying that the contents exist and that they're actually real. They're saying it's Russia that's doing it. And at some point it's like, guys, I mean, I know that your followers are stupid, brain-dead idiots, but maybe come up with a different talking point instead of blaming everything on Russia. You know they're scrambling if they're doing that. And the contents on this laptop are as damning or more damning than the contents on Weiner's laptop. And remember, Anthony Weiner said that he had an insurance policy against the Clintons. So I think that a lot of things are going to start trickling out, shall we say, and Clinton, Biden, Obama, all the filthy people in this little swamp, they're very scared and they're panicked, and they should be, because President Trump is literally the only person standing in the way between them and us. And they want to control us. They want to destroy us just like they want to control and destroy destroy President Trump. Now, let's get to the debate for this week. I'm taping this on Tuesday. The debate is on Thursday. The debate moderator is a leftist hack named Kristen Welker, who is a Clinton apologist. And, oh, fun fact, spent 2018 Christmas with Barack Obama at the White House. And who was vice president in not 2018. I think it was 2015. That was incorrect. 2015, she spent Christmas with Barack Obama. I can't talk. Barack Obama and Joe Biden. Joe Biden was the vice president then. Yes. So yes, Kristen Welker, who is a partisan hack, is going to be the debate moderator. And the debate moderator, the debate commission, consists of a bunch of leftists and never-Trumpers. And they're going to put a mute button to make sure that if Trump gets out of line, they can silence him. It's just outrageous. It's outrageous, the topics they're picking. They're not doing any foreign policy. They're doing race and climate change and COVID and all the other crap that they think that Biden is going to do great on, which he's not. He's not, because the Biden plans, quote unquote, is basically what Trump did. So they're just so filthy and such liars. And it is funny when one of them gets busted for doing something really stupid, like this week happened with Jeffrey Toobin. Oh, bless. Jeffrey Toobin, if you haven't heard, he is a CNN analyst, and he also wrote a great book 20 years ago about O.J. Simpson called The Run of His Life. And it was actually a very good book. But he's gone far left lunatic and works for CNN, and he works for the New Yorker. And so I guess there was some Zoom call with staff members of the New Yorker, and Toobin didn't realize his video was on, and he was, shall we say, stroking his Toobin while the meeting was going on. And people were like, whoa! And I'm telling you, you find some of the screenshots of the reaction to these poor people having to see what Jeffrey Toobin was doing. He was basically, he was pleasuring himself as the Zoom call was going on. I mean, CNN, good. But people were like, oh, he's suspended right now from CNN and the New Yorker. And, it's like, well, when will he be back? I'm like, oh, next week. He'll be fine. Like, next week, it's like, nothing happened. The left always protects themselves. They always circle the wagons and protect their own. A conservative says one wrong thing, they're canceled for life. But Jeffrey Toobin, I'm sure, will be back on CNN because he's just expressing his sexuality. I mean, do you have a problem with someone's sexuality being expressed on a Zoom call? You racist bigot. That's by the line, but it's funny when one of them gets caught, isn't it? Now, I'd like to jump into my article this week because it is important. And as the last debate comes up, and President Trump has said, yes, we're going to do the debate, but not happy with the parameters of it at all. And I'm not either. I think it's ridiculous. But Democrats, they like to say they're the party of science, right? They're like, oh, trust the scientists, you rubes, you troglodytes. Don't you trust the science? If Dr. Fauci says something, it must be true. Now, keep in mind, Dr. Fauci has flipped and flopped and flopped and flipped over the last 7-8 months. At first, he said don't wear a mask because it doesn't do anything. It serves as a placebo effect, as a psychological crutch. And then when he realized that the mask was a great way to control the masses, he got on board with the masked Nazis. And I mean, there's so many things that the left has done with this COVID thing that make absolutely no sense. And it's pure propaganda. And remember, propaganda is not truth. Propaganda is lies. And eventually, propaganda is discovered. And that's why these tech oligarchs are doing the most to silence people, because what they're promoting is propaganda. And what people like me and other people out there talking about is actual truth and facts. So here are some of the things that Democrats, the party of science, actually the party of not science, believe. So Democrats believe that life does not, in fact, begin at conception, science, but at this magical place and time called birth, or even after birth, whenever the woman decides that this is a life inside of her, then and only then is it considered life. Hashtag not science. Democrats also believe that you can control your gender at whim. At a whim. That in fact, gender is not a biological reality, which is science, but it's something, it's a social construct. It was given to us by the patriarchal, heteronormative, male-dominated culture. And in fact, you can change your gender at any time. I mean, all you have to do is shove your body with hormones and mutilate your body, and shove hormones for the rest of your life and mutilate your body, and your gender is whatever you say it is, not science. Democrats also believe that a piece of paper, a bandana, your hand, your t-shirt, or any other various things they want to say can stop a virus particle that is 0.1 micrograms in size. The masked Nazis, this mask thing, and I've been railing against it for 7 months, but this mask thing has been the biggest and most substantial way the state and the left and the establishment and the swamp, whatever you want to call it, has been able to control the people. It's the biggest mechanism of control I've ever seen. And they are dead serious about it. They are, the hashtag heroes wear masks, too soon to quit, mask up America, mask saves lives, all that crap. No, hashtag masks don't work. Hashtag masks off America. When they can produce the randomized scientific blind studies that show that works, then I'll listen to you. Otherwise, it's a way to control people. And in fact, before I get to my last not science Democrats, I want to tell you all a little story last week that happened to me. I was at a restaurant in Houston that I go to quite a bit, and they're masked Nazis, and they, I've made videos before about the masks that I have created. The one I took to this restaurant was called Obey. It just said Obey on it. So I decided not to wear my mask as I walked to the bathroom. I know, shocking. I ran into 2 Karens in the bathroom. One was an older lady, and one was this red-haired doctor, and who thought her, poop didn't stink. But anyway, this old lady says to me, you really should wear a mask. I go, really? Where's the studies that prove this work? And then the doctor, it was just a pile-on. It was crazy. And the old lady says to me, she's like, she's got this mask on her face and her eyes are red and boiling. She goes, you really should do what you're told. And I said, oh, I should obey like a good little sheep. I said, oh, we got us a Biden voter here. Got 2 Biden voters here. And the redheaded lady goes, I'm an MD. Are you a doctor? I said, well, doctor, I guess you can show me the studies that prove that this works. And she was like, rah, and left the bathroom. Anyway, I went back to my table. I went and talked to my friends. And as I see the old lady Karen give me the stink eye as I walk to a table without my mask on. And then I see her talking to the manager. Oh, she's telling on me. She's tattling. And as I walk back to go outside, the manager says, ma'am, can you put on your mask? And so I said, I whipped out my Obey mask. I said, oh, this one? And I put it on. And I'm telling you, I said, I'm just walking outside. They're like, well, you have to wear the mask. This mask thing, and the fact that our Governor Abbott will still not relinquish this power and say these mask mandates are unconstitutional and they don't work and they're stupid. I just wonder, what does the Chinese party have on Greg Abbott? I'm not even kidding at this point. It makes no sense. But anyway, sorry for that detour there. Now, my last not science also has to do with corona. Democrats tell us that a disease, the Chinese virus, that has around a 99% survival rate, is a reason to shut down the world, is a reason to stop people from going to church, stop school children from going to school, stop bars from being open, stop restaurants from being at full capacity. But again, Walmart, Target, Home Depot, all the big box stores, Black Lives Matter riots, Antifa riots. Well, the Rona doesn't go there. The Rona only goes to other places that, small businesses, stuff like that. It's the biggest scam. I mean, I've said this for months. This is the biggest scam we have ever witnessed in American history and perhaps world history. And it's all to get rid of one single person. Because on November 4th, magically, I predict that the Rona isn't going to be the death sentence that the media has said it is. All of a sudden, if Joe Biden wins, God forbid, if Joe Biden wins, that's why the WHO came out last week and say, we really shouldn't be locking down anymore, because when Joe Biden wins, he's going to say, I'm going to listen to the scientists, and the scientists say the lockdowns need to end. There you go. That's how they're going to do it. Anyway, before I wrap up, of course, I went longer than 15 minutes. But before I wrap up, I want to implore you, if you have not early voted, please do so in person. Vote on Election Day in person. The only way to stop them from cheating and stealing this election with their mail-in ballot schemes is by flooding the zone on Election Day and in early voting and shock the world with the biggest red wave they have ever seen. We've got to take back the House. We've got to hold the Senate, and we've got to make sure Donald Trump is reelected. So guys, if you have common sense, if you're not a modern day alchemist who believes you can turn poop into gold like Democrats do, the party of not science, it is time for all of us to rise up, to be heard, to be counted. And you see it going on all over the country with these boat parades and these marches down Rodeo Drive. People are awake. The silent majority is awake, and we're getting ready to shock the world. So let's go out there and do it, America. And I implore you, treat your fellow man with kindness, hug a police officer, but never, ever stop pushing back on these filthy leftists, because they deserve it. Give them no quarter. See you next week.